In this video, you are going to be learning the perfect way to pay back those who have done you, those who will do you, and those who are still doing you evil. Yes, in this video, you are going to be learning the perfect way to pay back, the perfect way to revenge. So stay tuned. And welcome back to my YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this video. Be rest assured I did this because of you. Okay, so if you've not subscribed to my channel, please just hit the subscribe button right now and subscribe. You will love that you did it. Like, you will love it. You don't want to miss out on the interesting content I'll be posting here every week. So what is this channel all about? Is that the question in your mind? I will answer it. This channel, I answer questions pertaining to life, and I do this in a very special way. I do this every Friday and Saturday, and the special way in which I answer your questions is by telling you a story. Yeah, a story, a fiction story, but then inspired from true life experiences. So it will definitely bless you. And one sure thing I'm aware of is you get your answers in a way you can understand it, in a way you can relate with it. So it's a very good way to answer questions. So stay tuned, and guess what? In this video, you are going to be learning the perfect way to pay back those who have done you, those who will do you, and those who are still doing you evil. Yes, in this video, you are going to be learning the perfect way to pay back, the perfect way to revenge. So stay tuned. And I started the story yesterday. The link to the first part of the story is in the description, so you can go there, click it, watch it. You will enjoy the story. And don't forget to share it to your loved ones. Also, feel free to ask me your questions in the comment section, and let me tell you a story answering that very question. Good deal, right? Alright, so let's get the story started. So I'll continue the story I started yesterday about Jacinta. All about Jacinta. Remember, she lost her mom due to the action of her irresponsible father, and they had to relocate to another city. The father made her to relocate to another city because he was trying to cover his secrets forever. You know, Jacinta staying where she still knew people. She might be tempted one day to say it to one or two persons. So the father had to just take a quick action and prevent the secret from being opened at any time or anytime soon. So they relocated to another city, and life became miserable for Jacinta. First of all, her father stopped her from going to school, made her not to associate with anybody in the compound where they lived. If she dared it, the kind of beating she would receive when she come back inside her house. She could not even greet good evening or good morning to anybody. But that wasn't even the worst thing. The worst thing really started after a few more months. And guess what it is? This is something that nobody should ever experience, but then the poor girl Jacinta experienced it full time. And when this thing was happening, Jacinta was just 12 years old. 12 years old. When she lost her mom, she was 11 years, and when they relocated, she was already 12, and this thing started happening to her. One night, Jacinta was in the room sleeping, and all of a sudden she felt and touching her in an indecent manner. At first, she was very scared, you know. She was thinking, could this be a demon? So she was even scared to open her eyes and see what or who was touching her. But then this touch did not stop. It kept on going from her head down to her leg. No, the touch was becoming so intense, and then she had to just open her eyes, and to her greatest shock, who she saw was her father. She was about to scream, but then her father quickly covered her mouth, so she could not scream. Then she was trying to fight her father not to let him do what he wanted to do, but 12 years old girl, of course she cannot win such a fight. So the father forced his way into her, and that was the beginning of the journey for her, because her father did not stop doing it to her. He continued night after night, night after night. Now you may be saying, let's just lock her door. The father removed the lock, so she could not even lock the door. All she had to do was to cry every day, and she could not tell anybody. Who did she know? So she was suffering like this from night to night, and the hatred she had for her father was just multiplying day by day. One day, Jessita felt this strange thing around her body. She was feeling strange in her body, and her father noticed it as well. She had this strange feeling of her vomiting. She was looking more plumpy, and the father suspected that this girl might be pregnant, so he took her to the hospital, and unfortunately she was pregnant. So the father quickly told the doctor to do an abortion for her, and they went on with the abortion. But unfortunately, different complications came up during the abortion process, and the only way they could save Jessita's life was to remove her womb. The doctor told the father about it, and of course, the father agreed, so they removed her womb. Unknowingly to the father and the doctor, Jessita overheard them when they were discussing, but she pretended like she didn't hear anything. So they all stopped and they took away the baby, removed her womb as well, and they went back on Jessita and her father. But at that moment, Jessita's father really felt bad because he knew he has done something that the repercussion will forever tell in Jessita's life. But he didn't tell her. He just pretended and didn't want to say anything to her about it. But Jessita already heard it. So because of all those things, Jessita's father decided to change towards his daughter. And in a way of apologizing to her, he told her that I was going to let her go to school and train her to any level of her choice, whether she wants to do master's, any level she wants to get to. So Jessita pretended as if she was forgiving her father, but deep within her, the hatred that she had for her father, she was just planning how she would revenge because the pain was so much. First of all, this man made her mother to die. Secondly, it took away life from her. Refused her from associating with anybody, no relationship with anybody, and still made her to lose her womb. No. Jessita will not forgive her father for any reason. This was what she has always thought in her mind. But then she had to play along with her father, who is acting up like he has repented because he feels remorseful about losing her womb. So Jessita went to school and started associating with other people in the compound. 8 years later, Jessita was already in the university studying mass communication. And at that time, she was staying alone in her room. Like her father was really taking care of her. She was alone in the room. One night, while she was laying on the bed, the thought of her mother enveloped her. Like she started remembering her mother, how her mother died, how her father picked her mother to, like all those thoughts were just overwhelming her. She stood up from her bed, took her journal under her bed, then she started glancing through it. As she glanced through it, she started smiling because she had written down a plan, a revenge plan to execute against her father, and she planned that she was going to start it on the day of his birthday. So she glanced through this book and just smiled to herself. She later dropped it on the table and slept off. The next day, when she was out of the room, her bosom friend, this is somebody that she loves so much, Cynthia, came to visit. But she wasn't around when Cynthia came. But then that wasn't the problem because Cynthia had the spare key to Jessita's room. She opened the door, she entered the room, she just sat down on the bed, pressing her phone. All of a sudden, her eyes went to the direction of the book on the table. So she picked it up and started glancing through it. When she saw what her friend Jessita wrote in that book, she was shocked. But then she kept on reading. And then she understood why Jessita wanted to do those things to her father. She also felt very pained about it. And she understood why, because even herself has a similar experience. Her relationship with her father was so bad. And in fact, her father was already dead. So she understood Jessita's pain very well. She then dropped the book back on the table, went into the kitchen and started preparing food. When Jessita came back from afar, she was perceiving this beautiful aroma from her room. She already knew that her girlfriend Cynthia was around. She knew that it's only Cynthia that can be doing this kind of thing. So she was already happy. First of all, she was happy that her girlfriend Cynthia came to visit. Secondly, there was food, She just came back from lectures and she was very hungry, knowing that there was already food. Not just anybody's food, it was Cynthia's food. Cynthia's food that is delicious taste, like this special taste it gives. So she was very happy. She went into the room, she saw her friend Cynthia, they both hugged each other, and then food was ready. So they started eating together and gisting about a lot of things. She started a lot of gist about what happened in school. Cynthia also had a lot of gist for her. So they was just gisting about several things. Then Cynthia started gisting about her late father. Jester suddenly felt so relaxed. One thing is that Jester did not tell anybody about this thing that she was experiencing with her dad. She has kept it to herself for years. And even Cynthia, her closest friend, did not know about it. But on this very occasion, when Cynthia was telling her about her own father and the things he did to her and the family, Jester suddenly felt so relaxed to talk about her own as well. So she told Cynthia about her own father and the plan she already wrote down to execute against him. Cynthia was like, wow, that's serious. But then she moved closer to Jester and whispered something to her ear. After whispering it to her ear, she said, that's the best way to pay back. That one you wrote is not really, it won't really go well. But just follow this thing I've told you, then it's the best way to pay back. She started looked at Cynthia with this facial expression void of any emotion, because she didn't really like Cynthia's plan, but Cynthia was one person that she valued her words so much. Like she really valued Cynthia. She respected her. She liked to take her advice. But on this very one, she wasn't so sure she wanted to follow Cynthia's advice because it wasn't suiting her tastes. Anyways, we talked about every other thing and Cynthia went back to her own place where she is living, and Jester was left alone in the room. Later that night, Jester was just thinking about everything Cynthia has told her, the change of plans, and she was crying. She wasn't really sure if she wanted to follow Cynthia's advice, but like I said, she valued Cynthia's words. She so much valued it. Cynthia has been her friend right from secondary school, because when she entered secondary school that time, most people ignored her. They shifted her away. Nobody wanted to really associate with her, but Cynthia was one person that stood by her. They could not bully her in school because Cynthia was there for her. So she really loved Cynthia, and that's why she was considering forgetting her own plans to follow Cynthia's own. She believed Cynthia must be right, and Cynthia said that was the best way to pay back. So she decided to follow Cynthia's plan and ignore her own. The next night, she started doing what Cynthia asked her to do. Firstly, she went down on her knees and prayed for her father. Secondly, she prayed for herself. She prayed for her heart. She prayed for herself so much. She prayed for her father. This was the two things she was doing for like 2 weeks. Then the day of her father's birthday, she went to see him with a gift. And when she went there, first of all, she hugged her father. She gave her father the gift, and she then said to her father, Daddy, I've always pretended to have forgiven you, but the truth is that I've not forgiven you. Daddy, I'm also aware that I don't have a home. When she was saying these things, her father immediately cut her short and started crying, pleading, begging for her forgiveness. He broke down in tears. He knelt down in front of Jessica, crying and begging that she forgives him. He also told Jessica that he has been feeling so guilty about it, and even wanted to confess to her about the wrong thing, and also he wanted to go back to her mother's people, that's his wife. He wanted to go back to her family and tell them what really happened that caused their daughter's death. That he really feels so bad about everything he has done in the past. That moment was a very emotional one for both Jacinta and her father. They were just crying and crying and crying and crying. Wow. But then At that time, Jessica said to her father, do you want to give your life to Christ? Her father responded yes, and Jessica led her father to Christ. So the next day, Jessica went back to school, and though I won't say she really forgave her father all at once, she still felt this pain in her heart. But then she followed Cynthia's advice and kept praying for her daddy and praying for herself, and she kept on telling herself, I'm forgiving him, calling her father's name, I'm forgiving my father, I'm forgiving. She kept on saying it, she kept on praying. Once in a while she called her dad just to talk with him, and this was what she kept on doing. While her father later that month went to see his wife people and told them what he did wrong, they really rained insult on him. Like, they rained insult on him. But the first son in the family, the parents were already dead, but the first son in his family had to calm every other person down, and they spoke to each other. Last they forgave him. It wasn't easy, actually. It wasn't easy at all. So Jessica's father was forgiven by the wise people. He also called his daughter to inform her about the latest development. His daughter was very happy. After some years, Jessica was totally free from the pain. Like, she has forgiven her father totally. And she also graduated from university as the best mass communication student. And not just that, after a few more years, she got married. And guess what? Somebody who did not have a womb got pregnant miraculously. The doctors were shocked. But then she got pregnant and gave birth to twins. Just that joy knew no bound. It knew no bounds. So his grandfather became a grandfather, and he was really excited about it. So let me tell you what Cynthia actually whispered into Jessica's ear. What she whispered was a scripture, Romans 12 from 19 to the end. Yes, where the scriptures encourages us to leave vengeance for God. Yeah, vengeance belongs to God. Forgive. I think you should read that scripture. Romans 12, 19 to 21. So you see, the best way to pay back to those who hurt you, to those who do you wrong, is not by doing them evil. It's not. It's by responding to the evil they've done to you with good. And that is what Jessica did. God has a way of compensating you. Yes, it might not really kill the person who offended you. It might not really do something evil might not really happen to the person. God just knows the best way to revenge for you. Yes, for Cynthia's father, he died. But for Jessica's father, he did not. Instead, his own was that he gave his life to Christ, and as well went to apologize to his family who insulted him. But then Jessica was compensated as the best student from school. You know, when she graduated, jobs were coming after her. She got married, she had a twin, despite not having a womb. So you see, leave vengeance, leave that revenge plan you drew out. No, keep it aside. Forgive the person who offended you, and leave God to do his own thing. Do good to those who did you evil. It's hard, but then, like Cynthia, pray for the person, pray for yourself, not curse the person, bless the person, pray that God helps your heart. It's not easy, it cannot be easy, but then with time you will forgive the person and move on, and you will be happy that you forgave that person. Yeah, and that's the end of my story. Okay, please subscribe to this channel for more interesting content. Share this story with your loved ones, especially for those who feel like they are going through one pain or the other that somebody inflicted on them. This story will go a long way for them. Give the story a thumbs up, and see you in this channel next week.